Good morning, everybody. I should say it in Welsh, bore da, pawb, but I'll do the video in English because there's a lot of English people now living in Meinciau, Poniets and all over the Gwynedd Valley. But I want to do a video when I lived in the Meinciau. I moved in there in 1975 when I was married to my first wife. We only had the one child then, my eldest daughter, and it was like one moving into where all the family lived because everybody, it was a small site called the Ashes. Because Meinciau was a popular cricket place back in the 70s, and the site was called the Ashes, after, name after cricket. And we had the Black Horse nearby, and a lot of people who moved there with me and the first wife, I already knew, like Alan Rees, Derek Rowlands, then Malcolm Jones came, then Keith Thomas. And Meinciau, not forgetting Meinciau, he was the mayor of the Meinciau, married to Betty. And we were like one big happy family. Looking back from 1975 to 1983, I lived there married to the first wife. And I landed up having 2 more children. And life was absolutely great. One of the best times in my life, Of course, I was working underground as a miner. We were having coal. We had coal central heating. So we saved a lot of money there. We had a nice little car. My first wife then, in 1979, just after my daughter was born, decided to go out and work. And she went to work in the open cast site of all places. And, my good times in the Meinciau all of a sudden started turning into a nightmare because she started having an affair. Now, I was a typical married man back then, like all of us. Well, Alan Rees, Derek Rowlands, worked in Clive as well, but I worked underground on the coal face, earning good money, having good coal, and we always drink the black. We used to have bus trips every few weeks, go for a meal somewhere. We were absolutely having a great time. And I remember there was a tennis court down in the field further down than the Ashes, where the park is, and we used to play tennis down there. Life could never have been any better. But behind my back, you see, my first wife was already making plans to get rid of me. She had fallen in love with this man she was working with. Okay, fair enough, it happens to the best of us. And she started having an affair. And it looked bad. It looked bad because everybody in the Ashes, we were like one big family. They could see I was working every day and giving her good pay. I was giving her my pay on a Friday, and I had just had pocket money to go out on a Friday night or Saturday. And a lot of the times she would be out with me on a Saturday, and we'd all be going out for a drink, in the black. And we were just having a great time. But it looked bad now that she was having an affair. Everybody in the Meinciau, Meinciau, Alan Rees, Derek Rowlands, Malcolm Jones, they could all see this. And she was having a bad name, having an affair when I was a good father to my children, never hit my children. I tried to spoil them as much as I could. They were playing with other children, and we were all one big happy family. And then from 1979 on, I was looking after my youngest daughter, who was a baby at the time. I was changing a napkin every day. Well, I was changing the napkins of all my children, because my first wife was working before she went to work in the open cast site 1979. And it was extra money coming in, but all of a sudden she was having an affair, and she was a clever woman. She was very clever. So what she did, you see, because she was having such a bad name now, she started telling all her friends in the Meinciau that I was nasty towards her, that I was hitting her, and I was coming home drunk and nasty and all that. And of course, her friends started to believe this. And now all of a sudden, I was the bad one now. All of a sudden, all her friends in the Ashes sympathized with having an affair, because they thought, well, she's married to that waster who's hitting her and everything. But of course, she was such a good liar. She'd lied from the first day I met her. And I couldn't believe, what it was, I couldn't believe that anyone could lie so much and be so good at it, but she was. And from 1980 on, my life turned into a nightmare. And for 3 years then, I had to put up with her having an affair, and we did fall out over it, but she was working hard behind my back. She had a solicitor. She was working hard to get me out. And she did. After 11 years of marriage, working underground every day, giving my pay, I landed up being homeless. I had nothing, because she took me to court to say that she was afraid of me. She left me, you see, with the children, and she was saying in court. Now, of course, I could have had a good solicitor and gone and told the judge that she was having an affair. I had his wife as a witness, but I didn't do any of that. I just didn't think, I never thought in my wildest dreams that she would say so many bad lies about me in court. It was the biggest shock in my life. I've had a lot of shocks in my life, but that was the biggest shock in my life. When she was telling the judge that I was nasty, she was afraid to come back. And I had a court order to get out. And after 11 years of marriage, I lost everything. I lost my home, lost my car, lost everything. And I became homeless. Yes, it's one of the biggest shocks of my life. But we're on this planet to learn. And that was a big lesson for me. I was too honest, too trustworthy, I was too gullible, and I was letting her get away with everything. And I was giving her enough rope, and she was putting it around my neck. And all I can say now is that I have learnt a lot from that. I've made sure it never happened again. I've been on my own now for over 30 years. I love being on my own. It's peace and quiet. I can handle my own money now, because my first wife was spending all my money and putting me in debt. It was a nightmare. So this chap who went off did me a favour. He finally got rid of her for me. But at the same time, I lost out badly. But that's the way it goes, you see. What you gain on one hand, you lose out on the other hand. So that's the story about me living in the Meinciau. Okay.